This notion of causality is important in debugging because when we fix a defect, we want to make sure two things. First, we want to make sure that the defect is actually an error, that is, it is wrong. We also want to make sure that the defect causes the failure. If A is the defect and B is the failure, we also want to make sure that the defect causes the failure. If A is the defect and B is the failure, we want to make sure that if the defect hadn't been there, then the failure must not occur either. And these are the two things we need to show when we fix a defect. In order to make sure that the defect is an error, we must show how to correct it. And to show that the defect causes the failure, we must show that the failure no longer occurs after we have changed it. It is important to show both that a defect is an error and a cause in order to avoid situations in which a defect only is an error but does not cause the failure, or that something causes the failure but is not an error. Let's look at these. First, you can have an error that's not a cause. Here's you looking at your program, and you look at the program and find tons and tons of errors. Here's one, here's one, here's one. And you fix them and you think you're done. But you don't know whether any of these actually fixes the problem, because it may well be that these errors you find, that none of them actually causes the failure, which simply means that after any fix, you need to verify whether your fix actually did the trick. And better yet, before the fix, you should be able to precisely predict that your change will actually fix the failure. The second category is causes that are not errors. If you think of our Mozilla example, for instance, we have found that the select tag in the input causes Mozilla to crash when printing. However, this is just a cause. It is not an error. This is perfectly legal HTML input, and at the very least some input that Mozilla should normally be able to cope with. In particular, Mozilla should not crash on any input. So what we have here is a cause, but we haven't found the error yet. The error is somewhere in the code, probably in the piece of code that handles the printing of select tags. So we can have errors that are not causes and causes that are not errors. The goal in debugging is to find errors that actually cause the failure.